Yippee-ki-yay, melon farmer.
Well, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday carry people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker, and we have got something here today that I think is a little bit special. I mean, it's a little bit long in the tooth. It's been around for a while, but it's not something that you see every day because there are only 400 of these made. It's something that has become one of my absolute favorite knives in the entire world, and I was really blown away by this right off the beginning. As soon as I felt it, as soon as I flicked it the very first time, I thought, oh my goodness, this is something a little bit special. I didn't know very much about this knife when I first got it. After some research, I thought, oh my goodness, I got something special. Before we show this to you here, if you like what you see here today, don't forget to hit the old subscribe as well as hit the bell icon to get notified of any future videos that I put up. And also, please comment, like. I appreciate it so much. Help me get this algorithm working in my favor to spread my voice. Now we've all gone to that, let's have a look at this knife. This happens to be the Ray Laconico Upside Down Jasmine semi-custom, and I absolutely, without fail, I love this knife. This knife here is, I did have this up for sale for a bit because I got to feed the channel, and I was just humming and hawing, and I put it up for sale, and I'm really glad that nobody bought it because oh man. And the other thing is, I can't believe I haven't done a video on this knife. I've owned this for quite some time now. I think almost 3.5 or 4 years. And I can't believe I haven't showed you guys this before. I love this. I know there's a little bit of a short out there you could have a look at, but man, oh man, this is absolutely gorgeous. Now, this is something called a semi-custom. Now, what it is I guess the unfinished blade, as well as the parts and stuff, are sent to Ray Laconico himself at his shop, and he actually takes this knife, he hand finishes the blade, sharpens it, and then he puts everything together and he tunes it to his specification, and then he labels it. And you can see here at the inside, you've got it. I'm not sure if you can see it here. Let me stand up and just have a quick look there. I'm not sure if you can see it. Here, let me get my my flashlight out, because this one here happens to be number 9. I'm not sure if you can see it there. It says RL009. And I didn't know what that was at first. I just thought this was a really good looking knife that I got a really smoking deal on. And I picked it up and I just carried it for a while, and I just, right off the bat, I knew that this was something that was really gorgeous. Now, or just exceptional. Sometimes, I've picked up a knife and when I bought I ended up buying 114 knives at an auction, and there are a couple of them that fooled me that I did not know they were worth as much as they were. But there are a few knives that I picked up and I put them in my hand, I flipped them, and I thought, oh my goodness, that is something special. And it turns out they were something special. This happened to be the exact same way. The flipping action on this knife is absolutely gorgeous. The contoured titanium handle, the blade as well, it is a beautifully deep hollow ground on this. This happens to be called the Upside Down Jasmine because the blade itself is, the way it's situated, it looks like it's kind of upside down from his normal custom Jasmine, and it's got all sorts of kind of work to it. It's got this kind of flat here, it's got this swedge, and it's got this deep hollow grind. This is something I think takes some incredible talent to do if you're a knife maker. Now, one of the things about Ray's designs they are really I don't want to say simplistic, because they're not simplistic, but they're very Spartan. You don't see any big billboarding. If you want to look at his thing, it's Laconico here. There's not Ray Laconico knives or anything like that. Even his little signatures on the inside back part of the knife, that is RL009. His knives are extremely coveted out there. If you're a Ray Laconico fan, this is one that you got to put inside your collection, because it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, it's just a little bit on the smaller side. We'll have a look at some of the other knives in comparison here before we kind of go over the tech, or over the specs. Here we've got a Paramilitary 2. As you can see that it's a little bit bigger, although, cutting edge, very similar to the PM2. It's a very economically designed edge. Here we've got something here that's more along the same size. We have a TRM Neutron, Three Rivers Manufacturing Neutron 1. This is in my pocket right now. Great little knife. We'll be looking at a review of that very soon. Another knife that's along the same size. happens to be this here. This happens to be a Malibu, uh, and it is a button lock. This is a really, really fun knife here, this ProTech Malibu. And then, of course, we've got here my little package opener, the Kaiser Knives Mini Big Lighter. That's even a little bit smaller, but the one thing about this Ray Laconico knife is it's really, really classy. I mean, I've opened this up. Oh, I got somehow turned on my other little lamp there. I've opened this up in mixed company. And by mixed company, I mean knife guys and non-knife guys. And the knife guys knew right away. They heard the click and they're like, ooh, what's that? I showed to them, and they were oohing and on about it. And even showing some of the non-knife people, they were like, wow, that's really quite knife. They didn't feel threatened about it at all. So this is one for mixed company. All right, overall length here is 7.25 inches. It says a 3.125 inch blade. And the blade is made of CPM S35VN. Now the CPM S35VN is a beautiful steel. It is the steel that was designed by Chris Reeves for his Chris Reeves knives since he's gone to MagnaCut. But I have to say, S30V and CPM S35VN, I think they have gotten a little too. People are forgetting exactly how great a steel this is. If it's not M390 or 20CV, people are kind of turning their nose up. But a bunch of us, kind of our knife snobs. But CPM S35VN is a fantastic steel, and any knife that's got it in it is definitely a knife that has got a beautiful, beautiful steel in it. Now, it is a satin type finish where you can see all the grind lines in it. It also is a hollow ground. Though it is a really, really deep hollow ground. But when I say deep hollow ground, I mean, if you put your fingers on this, and you kind of follow that contour, you can see that it goes skinny, 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 skinny. Then it's actually, I would say that the thinnest part of this hollow ground is probably thinner than just behind the edge on this. And that's how well this thing has been hollow ground. So it's got a lot of life left in it. Now, there is no sharpening choil on here, so that's something here. But I don't think I would use this knife so much. Like, this is not going to be one of my cardboard cutters where I'm going to have to sharpen this knife all the time. This knife is going to be in my pocket on an occasional Sunday, or I'm heading out to an event where I want to bring something that's very classy, and this would be it. Let's just see. Handle length is 4.25, so it's enough that even with my double XL hands, I can get just kind of almost like a four-finger grip. There's just a little bit of my chubby digits that are hanging over the edge, but it does feel extremely comfortable, especially because this is a radius titanium. You can see you got that. So some of the first upside-down Jasmines that I saw that Ray Laconico built, and I'm not sure if they're customs or if they're from Alliance Designs, with them, but they were a D2 steel and they were flat, some of the very first ones, but this one here has kind of got that 3D radius titanium and with the S35VN. Now, let's just see, the handle width is 1 inch completely thick, so it does fill the hands quite nicely. The ergonomics on this knife are extremely nice. Like, I mean, if you were going to use this as an EDC, I don't think you would have any problem with it whatsoever. The only thing I think is this 3D milled pocket clip is a little bit hot spotty in the hand, and I often wonder, about this. This one goes into the pocket quite well, but when you've got the clip over top of this relief cutout for your lock bar, I always think that relief cutout bar should be on the inside, because sometimes it can snag on the jeans a little bit. On this one, it's not too bad, but on something like my Chavez Rendition 229, it catches terribly, to the point where it's, as much as I like that knife, it's kind of a pain to carry. This one doesn't really have it. It doesn't have that kind of snaggy, but I just wish that any designer in the future, hey, take this from the Big Canucker, put your relief cut on the inside, then you'll never have that problem whatsoever. Now, they say that it's a draw point. I guess it's kind of a draw point. It's almost like a spear point. It is the upside down blade from the original Jasmine. So if you can see a picture of an original Jasmine, I might decide to, if I can find one, I'll put one in side by side so you guys can see what the blade looks like upside down. Let's just see here. Now, the handle material is titanium. It's gray, 3.89 ounces, so it's it's light. It's not like as light as there have been some out there because I had a look inside there, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of kind of cutouts or anything to make it lighter. It seems like it's a very nice thick. It's got a very thick backspacer in, and when Ray Laconico put these together, he must have kind of maybe ground that a little bit because you cannot feel the difference in that backspacer at all. It feels like one piece of titanium. Now I don't read braille with my fingers. I imagine somebody out there could tell that it's changed, but I certainly can't. It looks like it feels like it's one piece. Just the eyeballs tell me that it's more than one, and I know that your fingers can feel quite a difference. I think it's a 10 thou or less your fingers can feel. It is only tip up or right hand carry. It has, of course, my favorite thing, the lanyard tube. Now it looks like your hardware is all T8. Let's just see if I'm right. If they're all T8. Yeah, T8. T8. Yes, excellent. And T8. Wow, all of them are T8, which is I like that idea of having all T8 hardware. It is a frame lock. Now I see I've got this in there. I don't think there is any sort of lock bar insert on there. The lock bar insert is not there, and that's one of the things that Ray Laconico on his early knives, he didn't think about putting those in there. There must be something that's done to the end here because I've experienced absolutely zero lock stick whatsoever on this. There's been none whatsoever, and it's got a really super early lockup, as you can see. And that's one of the things that, especially on Ray Laconico Customs, his knives, the way he designs them, the way he kind of puts that lock bar face on there, there is absolutely zero kind of up and down, no lock creep. And it's nice early lockup. So I'm sure that if you cut this in your knife, this knife is going to outlast me quite a bit. This thing is never going to, I don't think it'll ever walk over to the other side, which is one of the things I think people are a little bit afraid of, is when they don't have the lock bar insert. The titanium is a little bit softer than the steel on here, and they're afraid that this is going to wear prematurely, develop lock stick, or even wear to the point where it's going to touch. I don't think you got to worry about this. His lockup is excellent, and I would imagine that he probably carbonized this too as well. I'm going to guess this is running on bearings too as well, because it is so smooth. And I mean, when we talk about smooth, we talk about like smooth knives. You've got like Chris Reeves knives; they're like hydraulic smoothness. And that's it's hugely expensive knife. I mean, you're talking 500 plus on the 21 Sebenza, and that's USD. And this one here is 380 USD, and it is incredibly smooth, and it rockets out no problem. As you can see here, with the lock bar depressed, it did fall shut. Now, it's not a completely fall shutty thing. It's not like that at all, but it is enough that it's so smooth and it's so satisfying. It's just one of those knives that flicks out. That I like the landing pad on here. The little now, some people on the earlier versions, they complained that this was a little bit too pokey. On the original kind of D2 Jasmines was a little bit too rough, but he seems to kind of maybe solve that. There's a little bit of chamfer cut in there. It's extremely comfortable, and it rockets out. I just really like this knife so much, and I'm really happy to kind of show you this whole thing. It is USA made, so there you go. So if you like what you saw, please don't forget to subscribe, as well as please stay safe out there. Keep the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.